In the shadow of the last German emperor lay stories of people long forgotten to history. Beyond the grandeur of the Hohenzollern dynasty, there were women who married into this family, women whose life remained largely overshadowed by their infamous father-in-law. Cecilie of Mecklenburg-Schwerin, Sophia Charlotte of Oldenburg, Adelaide of Saxe-Meiningen, Alexandra Victoria of Schleswig, Holstein-Sonderburg-Glücksburg, Ina Marie of Bassewitz, and Marie-Augusta of Anhalt. One destined to be the next German Empress, the other one involved in a scandalous affair. Join me as we meet them all. Cecilie Augusta Marie was born on September 20th, 1886 in Schwerin. She was the daughter of Frederick Francis III, Grand Duke of Mecklenburg-Schwerin and Grand Duchess Anastasia Mikhailovna of Russia. Cecilia spent most of her childhood traveling between Schwerin and Cannes as her father suffered from asthma and required a warmer climate. Frederick Francis, however, died at only 46 when Cecilia was only 10 years old. After the death of her father and the marriage of her elder sister, Cecilia and her widowed mother made frequent visits to Russia. Cecilia met her future husband, the German crown prince, at the wedding of her brother. Cecilia was taller than most women of her time, standing at astonishing 5'11", and as such caught the eye of the 22-year-old Wilhelm. Wilhelm was immediately struck by her great beauty, and shortly after they were engaged. The wedding took place on June 6, 1905 in Berlin. Cecilia quickly became a popular member of the imperial family. She was known for her sense of fashion and her elegance. Eventually, Cecilia became a fashion icon of her time. A little over a year after the wedding, the couple's first child, also named Wilhelm, was born. Their marriage seemed perfect, but cracks quickly appeared as the crown prince had many affairs. Over the next 11 years, the couple would have 5 more children. During the First World War, Cecilia moved herself and her children to the new palace where she lived with her mother. It was also here where she was informed about the abdication of her father-in-law and husband. After the downfall of the monarchy, Cecilia wished to remain in Germany. She was allowed to do so and settled privately at Cecilienhof. Her children from then on visit public schools. Cecilia had sympathy for the German people and was aware that the German Empire would perhaps never be restored. Cecilia and her husband reunited after 5 years of separation in 1923. However, the marriage now was merely one in name only. They would live separately and only come together for family events. Even under the Nazi regime, Cecilia continued her quiet life at Cecilienhof. During the Second World War, Cecilia experienced personal tragedy when her eldest son Wilhelm died in action. With the ongoing warfare, she and her estranged husband were forced to retreat to Castle Oels. After the war, Cecilia was forced to flee from the Soviet army. She fled to Bad Kissingen. Her husband died on July 20th, 1951. Cecilia moved near Stuttgart in her later years. Cecilia's sister Alexandrine died in late 1952. She would never recover from her death and died in May 1954. She was interred next to her husband on the grounds of Castle Hohenzollern. Duchess Sophia Charlotte of Oldenburg was born on February 2, 1879 in Oldenburg. She was the daughter of Frederick Augustus, the hereditary Grand Duke of Oldenburg, and Elizabeth Anna of Prussia. In her family, she was called Lotte. Sophia Charlotte had a close relationship with her father, with whom she often went on yachting trips. Her childhood was spent between Germany, London, and Italy. Her mother died in 1895 and her father remarried. However, the second marriage of her father made home life unhappy for her. Sophia Charlotte was therefore happy to escape home as soon as a suitable candidate was found. She met her future husband Eitel at the wedding of his brother in 1905. Especially Eitel's mother, the German Empress, supported the match as she wished to build closer ties to the Oldenburg family. In September of that same year, Eitel traveled to Oldenburg, and despite his reluctance to the match, the two became engaged. This mostly due to the pressure to wed on Eitel's side. The wedding took place on February 27, 1906 in Berlin. The marriage ceremony was a huge event as it fell on the silver wedding anniversary of the Emperor and Empress. Sophia Charlotte was welcomed warmly in Berlin. However, she did not manage to make friends and her marriage was unhappy. Especially when her husband left to fight during the First World War, she became lonely. Soon, rumors started to spread that Sophia Charlotte had an affair. These were in fact even confirmed by her. Their marriage was eventually divorced in 1926. Perhaps they had wished to divorce even before the outbreak of the First World War, but were denied from doing so. The couple had no children. Sophia Charlotte remarried in 1927 to Harald von Hedemann, a former police officer. Although this was a morganatic marriage, the wedding ceremony was still held at Rostede Castle, with her father even attending. The couple lived together in the castle in which they were wed. Sophia Charlotte was considered to be one of the richest women in Germany. She died in 1964. Adelaide of Saxe-Meiningen was born on August 16, 1891 in Kassel. Her full name was Adelaide Erna Caroline Marie Elizabeth. Her grandfather was the Duke of Saxe-Meiningen. Through her father's side of the family, she was a granddaughter of Feodora of Leiningen, the half-sister of Queen Victoria. Within her family, she was called Adi. Adelaide married Prince Adalbert of Prussia right at the outbreak of the First World War on August 3, 1914. Sadly, her father would die only 20 days later in action. He was the first Prussian general to die during the war. She became a popular member of the imperial family, and her marriage was said to have been loving. While her husband was serving in the war, there were rumors that he had also died. However, these proved wrong. The couple would have 3 children together. After the war, the couple moved their family to Switzerland. They remained there until their deaths. Adalbert died in 1948, and Adelaide outlived him by 23 years, dying in 1971. Alexandra Victoria of Schleswig, Holstein-Sonderburg-Glücksburg was born on April 21, 1887. Her full name was Alexandra Victoria Augusta Leopoldine. She was the daughter of the Duke of Schleswig-Holstein. Her mother, Princess Caroline Matilda, was a great-niece of British Queen Victoria. Her father was a nephew of Christian IX of Denmark. She spent her childhood at Gut Grunholz, which also is her birthplace. She was taught by private tutors and learned German, English, French, Maths, history, politics, and music. Alexandra Victoria married Prince August Wilhelm of Prussia on October 22, 1908 at the Royal Palace in Berlin. The couple were first cousins, with their mothers being sisters. Although the marriage was arranged, it seemed to be a happy one. As the Empress was her aunt, she quickly became the favorite daughter-in-law. Alexandra Victoria was described as pretty, bright, and the perfect Deutsche Hausfrau. The couple settled in a villa in Sanssouci Park in Potsdam. Their only child, Prince Alexander Ferdinand, was born in 1912. During the First World War, Alexandra Victoria's husband was appointed district administrator, and Hans-Georg von Mackensen was made his personal adjutant. The two had been close friends since youth and perhaps developed a relationship during this time. This led to the failure of their marriage. After the end of the First World War, the couple was divorced. Her husband received custody over their son. Alexandra Victoria remarried 2 years later to a man named Arnold Ruhmann. Later she moved to New York, where she worked as a painter. Her second marriage was divorced in 1933. Alexandra Victoria eventually returned to Germany. After the Second World War, she lived in a trailer and earned money as a portrait and landscape painter. With her trailer and her dog, she made extensive travels through Europe. She died on April 14, 1957, 6 days shy of her 70th birthday. Countess Ina Marie of Bassewitz was born on January 27, 1888, in Mecklenburg, Germany. She was the daughter of a count and belonged to the German aristocracy. Ina Marie married Prince Oskar of Prussia right at the outbreak of the First World War on July 31, 1914. Due to her rank, the marriage was firstly declared morganatic. However, she was made Countess of Ruppen in her own right. The couple would have 4 children together, among them Prince Wilhelm Karl of Prussia, who died in 2007 as the last surviving grandchild of Wilhelm II. On November 3, 1919, the marriage of Ina Marie and Oskar was declared dynastic, and she as such became a princess of Prussia with the style of Royal Highness. Her husband Oskar died on January 27, 1958, Ina Marie's 70th birthday, and her late father-in-law's 99th birthday. Ina Marie outlived her husband by 15 years and was buried on the grounds of Castle Hohenzollern. Princess Marie-Augusta of Anhalt was born on June 10, 1898. Her father was Edward, the penultimate ruler of the Duchy of Anhalt. Marie-Augusta spent her childhood in Dessau, the capital of Anhalt. 3 months shy of her 18th birthday, she married Prince Joachim of Prussia. They had been engaged since October 14, 1915. The wedding was celebrated at Bellevue Palace, but was not as grand of an affair as with the marriages of her brother-in-law. The couple had a simple Lutheran ceremony. Almost exactly 9 months after the wedding, their only son was born. The couple divorced shortly after the end of the First World War. The reasons are not quite clear. Some say that Marie-Augusta had before tried to abandon her family and run away with another man. In the end, it was she who filed for divorce. Prince Joachim died by suicide shortly after the divorce was finalized, making it possible that his marital problems were one of the reasons for him to end his life. Their son was initially taken in by Joachim's brother, but after court gave full custody to Marie-Augusta, the young boy was brought back to his mother. In 1926, Marie-Augusta married her childhood friend. The second marriage, however, only lasted 9 years and ended in a divorce. Later, Marie-Augusta joined the Nazi Party. In 1980, she adopted a businessman who in turn gave her 4,000 euros monthly. Her adopted son is still alive today and proceeds to sell knighthoods due to his new unofficial title as Prince of Anhalt. Marie-Augusta died in 1983.